Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar this morning. Today's session will be focused on UDesign. This is going to be a brief demonstration to show you some of the functionality and some of the direction in which we're taking with our new capability. So a few housekeeping measures before I do an introduction and give you a little more overview of what we're going to be discussing today. This is our safe harbor statement. This gives you an indication that this presentation is directional, gives you an understanding of where the company is going with our capabilities and products. It's a forward-looking statement. Some of the features, functions that I show today may not make it into final product, or they might be different than what you see today. So just wanted to let you all know that what we're showing today is something that gives you directional a view as to what we're looking to be implementing here shortly. So just a real quick overview. As most of you do know, we have three products: Lucy, Designer, and UPMX. Those products we will not be focused in on today. We won't be discussing them. If you want to learn more about those, please reach out to us and we will give you a little more information on these and how they can fit in with your particular needs. However, today we'll be focused in on UDesign, and UDesign provides a collaborative new experience, introduces the concept of boards, gives you more capability, and it also starts to embed those key differentiators that Lucy, Designer, and UPMX provide into one cohesive solution. So that is the concepts that we're looking to be implementing in 2024 and 2025 and then forward. So we look forward to getting your feedback on this and seeing where you would like us to go with our product. So real quickly, who am I? I'm Curtis Lupton. I am an enterprise architect, digital transformation expert, and customer experience expert. I've been in this field for a little over 20 years, supporting various customers to do a number of different capabilities within their organization. And I've been working with Inspire for a little over 5 months now, maybe 6 months now, and helping to give direction on how the product can be used, helping our customers understand where it fits into their organization, and then providing direction onto how to use the solutions that Inspire has been developing over the last almost 10 years now. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus in on a scenario, and that scenario requires us to research the customer, do some design workshops, plan for the change that we want to implement, and then monitor that execution. And we're going to use UDesign to help us with that journey of being able to do these aspects. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm going to move into a different capability. I'm going to move into a web browser. And our web browser has our UDesign capability up and running. So let me go ahead and get that running. And we will go ahead and we'll start that process. So just one moment here, and let me get to the right one. All right, here we are. So I'm now sharing a screen, and you can see here is UDesign. And for those that may not be aware of how our products work within Inspire, we're all embedded within ServiceNow. So here you see UDesign in the corner here for our demo instance. We've rebranded it for us, but under the all dashboard navigation pane, you'll see UDesign, and here you'll be able to access UDesign like you've been able to access all the other products. And that in turn opens up our set of boards. And we've simplified things to make it easy for our users to navigate around. So I can use my map down here. I can move around. I can navigate this way between my boards. And we'll explore the boards in just a moment. But just to get you an understanding of some of the navigation capabilities here, I have those. I also have my ability to go and make new objects. I can make new shapes. The shapes are organized in different ways that I can go and I can find my information. I can see it, I can read it. I can go into UPMX. I have UPMX symbology here. I can see what it's called, or I can simplify it and I can make it so that it's easy to see everything on one quick view. We also have some concepts that I'll be exploring briefly at the end on visualizations, specifically how new ways for us to generate and create hierarchy maps. And I'll show a little bit about that at the end. We also can explore the ServiceNow repository. So just like you could before, we can see that there's a lot of information in here. I can go and choose my business applications. I can go and find a business application, drag and drop it. And again, I'll show you a little bit about that momentarily. We also introduced the concept of frames, and I'll be using frames extensively. I've created a bunch of frames here, and they become very useful for organizing thoughts, helping compartmentalize information, helping to make sure that groups know what it is that we're looking to get as far as research goes or as far as planning goes. And I'll explore that in a moment as well. So why don't we go into it? I'll go ahead and I will go into presentation mode. I'll hit that button and I'll start at the beginning. And just like I was telling you with the slides, I've moved into our UDesign canvas, and we're going to start with doing some research. We're going to then move into a quick design workshop. We're going to plan for some change, and then we're going to see how we're monitoring and how we're doing with our execution. So let's start. So our team has been given the task to go and do some analysis. And that analysis is, hey, we have some strategies. And right here, I have 7 different 2024 strategies that we want to be able to realize. We want to know, hey, what are the strategies that we currently have and which ones should we be focused in on? So our team has been asked to look at this dashboard. We have some quick information here on the investment status. Is it red, yellow, or green? What's the timeline? Again, red, yellow, or green. And then what's the ROI that we're expecting to get out of this currently? And right now we can see that, hey, we have a timeline for sustainability. And sustainability has some investment, but the investment hasn't been quite allocated. And we're struggling with realizing the ROI. So, what is sustainability? What does it mean to our organization? Why is it important? How are we going to really implement it? We know we need to do it. We're falling behind with our competitors, and we need to have an actionable set of items for sustainability. So let's go and talk about that a little bit. So our group gets together. We assemble Eva, Julia, myself, and Anastasia. And we all get together and we start to explore a little bit more about what do we need to focus in on for this particular strategy and initiative. What do we need to do as far as realizing and rationalizing this particular one? Why are we going to do it? What's the reasoning behind it? And how are we going to measure the ROI? And then ultimately, how are we going to come up with a final decision? So we pull out our sticky pads. That's all available when we're in edit mode. We collaborate together. We have a discussion. We get on a call and we go through and we enter in all this information. We can enter this information together in one group session, or we can do this asynchronously where each of us comes in and we start adding information as we need. Ultimately, we come to the conclusion that we need to design a better sustainability structure for our customer. So before we get into design, we need to come up with some design criteria and some design principles. So we all agree, we sit down and we say, hey, there's things that we need to figure out when we're adding in new functionality, adding in new capabilities. What are we going to agree on how that works and what's going to happen? And then if we're removing something, what do we have to ensure that we have as a design principle? And the nice thing about doing this and having it here is it's a guiding principle for everybody. So anybody that comes in and collaborates within this working board, we can all go back here and say, hey, when we're making new changes and adding in new functionality, new capabilities, we have an agreement. And when we're removing things, we have an agreement. And we came up with some design principles here. The design principles of keep the customer at the center, have a digital first approach, keep things simple, don't introduce redundant solutions or reuse, and make sure that we're reusing things that already been purchased, already out there. Ensure that we're deconflicting and we're managing risk. These are all kind of concepts that we came up as a group, and we think that these are good ways to monitor what's going on within our design. So the next thing we want to do is we really want to start to focus in on that customer journey. So here we have some ideas that we're going to use these sticky notes. So we have things that we want to add and things that we want to remove. So as we look at this particular customer, we see that there's a customer that becomes aware of sustainability. So the customer is going and looking at companies, and they're seeing that some companies have a very rich, mature, robust sustainability program. So they're reducing paper use, they're recycling, they're reusing, they're not causing damage to the environment. It makes the customer feel very good about what it is that they're going to be purchasing, how they interact with the company, and they have a good feeling about it. And they continue to want to use the services and the products that company produces. And they also tell others that this is a company that they should work with. So they become aware. So how are we going to do that? What are the things that we do today? We start to investigate that. We look at some of the touch points that they use the website, they use social media. There's some artificial intelligence in there. There's better communications. There's interactions with the people in our company. So there needs to be a talk track around how we provide sustainability strategies and activities. So we start to go and see, hey, there's things that we need to add. There's things that we need to remove. And across the top, we start to see, within the experience that this customer is having with our company, where are they? And it's not very good, as expected. And that's why we're trying to fulfill a better strategy on how we're going to make this work better for our particular customer. So let's go and let's dig in a little bit here onto a plan. Let's start to understand where there's capabilities that we already have. So we created a hierarchy map here that shows how sustainability fits within our organization. So we already have a capability, but we also see here that there's nothing associated to it. So we need to think a little bit more in depth around how is this capability going to be fulfilled. So we start to talk about, well, we need to understand who's going to be impacted. If we're going to make any technology changes, we already agreed in our design principle that if we're going to make any technology changes, we need to know who's going to be impacted. We need to make sure that we keep them at the center and we know what's going to be changed. What needs to be added? Well, we already collected a lot of good research from doing our brainstorming and our journey map. So we've consolidated it here, and we said, hey, we know that we need to add some new social media content. We need to have some social media awareness campaign. We want to add those things. What needs to be changed? Here we're starting to flesh out that, hey, there's some things that we already have that already exist within our organization. We just want to make some updates and changes to those. And then what needs to be removed? So again, there's some elements in there that we are old, that are no longer necessary, and we want to take out of our organization. So when we look at what's the existing architecture, we start to dig into that one capability, that improvement sustainability. And we see that, hey, we want to support this capability and provide it through some updates to these existing applications. And these applications are going to provide us the technical capability of web content management and data visualization. So we already have some building blocks. We already have some things that we can use within our organization that can help us with fulfilling that strategy of sustainability. And we can also then say, okay, well, now that we have an idea of what it is we want to do, let's come up with some options. Maybe option one is let's modify the architecture. Let's just use what we have. Let's not go and purchase anything. Option two is let's add some technology. And here again, we've started to add some notes here. The team has started to call out some ideas, and we're starting to formulate an opinion about what it is that we would like to do. And ultimately, we think that sustainability is important enough for us to add in some additional capability. So we can move into more of a solution architecture. And that solution architecture allows us to understand that strategy. Here we see that we want to improve communication of sustainability. And it's highlighted blue because we have a gap, right? We have a gap here of no alignment to that improvement of sustainability. So we want to be able to do that. We have some objectives to help us measure. So we now can measure out what is going to be happening over time. So we want to improve our NPS score. We want to get positive survey responses. But all of that then is going to help us to ensure that we're measuring and tracking this capability. We also know that, hey, we're going to need to have some projects. So we have some projects here. We need to have a sustainability management platform. We need to provide social content. We need to provide videos. We need to measure impact and collect enterprise data. And so that's going to require some of these projects to be funded and then measured over time to make sure. We also know that we're going to have to add in new systems. Here we have a new system that we're going to purchase, a business application. We're going to make edits and changes to our existing platforms. So these will be part of the overall solution. And then there's technology. And there's quite a bit of technology here that we're going to have to go and evaluate and purchase to fulfill some of the capabilities that are needed in order for the strategy to become reality. So quite a bit so far. Now, as I stated already, once we make a decision on these projects, we're going to have to measure, or we're going to have to monitor these over time. So we have strategy timelines. These timelines will be either created by you if you have some visual way that you want, or they will be generated. So we can generate timelines, we can generate views within here that give us these roadmaps. And these roadmaps have indicators to them that tell us the status, the life cycle that these particular projects are in, and they show us when they are going to start and when they're going to stop. And of course, we can mark this up with notes, we can mark this up with milestones. We can add additional details on here to help us better understand where we are within our execution journey. And then we do need to also have an understanding of who is responsible for this. So what is the workload that people are going to be doing? So we have various individuals. They might not be the same people that were doing the research. They might be different people, and they have to consult with others. They have to be informed. They have to be accountable. They have to be responsible. They have various activities that they will have to do aligned with each of these particular projects here. So you can see that I've added these projects, and I've given each of these people a role that they will need to do, and they will need to make sure that these projects are fulfilled over time. And lastly, we want to look at how is our capability going to be changed? What does it look like in a hierarchy? So this was a generated view. I have my capability hierarchy here. I have business capabilities management. It breaks down into other capabilities. And then I have various business applications that are supporting these capabilities as well. And here you can see these are the 4 applications that I'm planning to be bringing online or making modifications to within my organization as things change. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop my presentation. I just wanted to show you a few things here about what UDesign can do. Again, the direction that we're taking is allowing our users to be able to come in, make the views that are necessary for them to get their work done, and then be able to align that with the architecture in the background. So there are pieces of information here that are being collected in collaborative sessions, aligned with the data that's being stored within your repository. so that you can bring that in. And then once a decision is made and the plan is executed, it flows right back into the architecture, and then that can be managed from an enterprise scale. Thank you for your time today. I'm going to stop here and stop sharing. I'm going to go right back to my slides real quickly and just let you know that if you need to contact us, who you can contact. So for those of you that would like to get in touch with us, learn a little bit more about either FreeLucy, Designer, UPMX, or talk more about how UDesign is going to fit within your organization, you can book a call with us using the QR code on the screen here. We also will be releasing version 1 of UDesign in January of 2024. And then that will have multiple releases over the 2024 year. But if you can join us, we would love to have you there. And if you need to reach out directly for our European clients and prospects, please reach out to Eva. And for those in North America, you can reach out to Julia. Thank you for your time. I look forward to getting a chance to talk with each and every one of you.